Okay, this is your third video, or no, your fourth video in April. So we are going to begin with graphing linear inequalities. And the more YouTube videos I watch, guys, the more I realize maybe I should tell you to subscribe to my videos so that way you don't miss any. Because some of you are just missing the link somehow, and I want to make sure that you can get there. So, just subscribe to my nice channel, and then whenever I make a new video, it'll pop up and you can watch it. So inequalities, when you are solving or graphing, what you should remember is that unlike linear, and when you're solving for, one variable, inequalities have many solutions. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to just recall what these signs represent. So this sign right here is an inequality sign that represents less than. This is still less than, but then they're adding an extra part, the underline. The underline, you should remember, means less than or equal to. This one represents greater than. And just like this one, when it's underlined, now I'm talking about greater than or equal to. Okay, it's important that you know those when we go into this graphing phase. Now, I'm going to give you some steps today to be successful and make sure that you're following them, and these really won't be that bad. So our first graph is this, and it wants us to graph y is less than x minus 4. Many of you should know how to graph it if there's an equal sign here, but now there's just an inequality. Really, that only makes us think about two additional things. So our first step, step 1, is going to be very closely related to when we were graphing in general. We're going to make sure that all these equations are solved for y. We want to make sure that they look like y equals mx plus b. If I look at this one, y equals, it has an inequality instead of an equals, mx plus b. This one looks pretty good. So I really don't have to do step 1. One thing you might want to do is add the imaginary 1 there, so that way you remember it's 1x minus 4. Okay, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to graph. And it says the blanks are graph using the blank and blank. Well, thinking about how you graph a line, you should recall this. Graph using the m, which is the slope. I'm going to put both just in case you forgot. And the b, which is the y-intercept. So from here, at this point, it's really essentially the same. So that's what we're going to do. So if I go over here, and I'm just going to write it on the side, so remember, my b is negative 4. My m is 1. And if I want to make it a fraction, I put it over 1. So I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to plot my b, my y-intercept. So I'm going to go along the y-axis where it's negative 4. So that means I go down 4, and I put a point. And then my slope says 1 over 1. Well, slope is rise over run, and it's positive, so that means up 1, right 1. So from this point, I'm going to go up 1, right 1, and put a point. And I'm going to keep going. And for inequalities, just like when we graphed when they weren't inequalities and they were just equations, we're going to go as far as we can. But remember, I can also then go down and left, and that will fit. So I'm going to go down and left and down and left. Now, as of right now, this is the same thing we did when we graphed linear equations. This is where the inequality piece comes in, so do not connect your line. You need to figure out if it's a solid or a dashed line. Another word we use for this is dotted. So solid or dotted, solid or dashed. You will see both. So when I go back up here, what it means to be solid is it means that anything on that line is equal to it. Well, if I'm just less than or I'm just greater than, am I on that line? No. So less than and greater than are going to be dotted because I can't fill it in. I can't make it a solid line because it's not equal to it there. And if it's less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, that's going to be solid. And we will jot that note down in a second. So in this case, well, this is just less than. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to connect these 2 points. If you watch me, you'll see it. I'm going to skip, connect these 2, skip, connect these 2, skip. So my line looks like this. There's holes in it because it's just less than, it's not equal to it. So I can't connect this fully. And I'm going to put my arrows at the end. So there's step 3. And I decided that, so I'm going to circle this. I decided this because this is just less than. So that means that this was a dotted line or dashed, however you want to put it. And then you have to decide if you're going to shade. And the missings here are shade above the line or shade below the line. Well, if this is less than, that means I'm going to want less than it. So do you think that's above or below? If it's less than, I would think then it's below that, right? I want below. So if I look at this line, I think, do I shade up here or do I shade down here? I'm going to shade down because I want below. So I'm going to go like this and just put a couple markings on my paper. So what I'm saying is anything in here is a solution. So if I were to plot this point, okay, that's 4, -3. So a solution in here would be 4, -3. Not a solution for this one would be anything not in that shaded region. So maybe something like this, right? That is nowhere near the shading. So this point is -2, 1. So that's not a solution. Now there's obviously a lot of solutions, anything here. So I could have named a bunch of points. And there's a lot of non-solutions, anything up here. Make sure you're pausing along the way. Make sure you have copied down all the stuff. Okay, we're going to go on to the second one. Here's the second one. Y is greater than -3 over 5x minus 5. So if I look at my steps, solve for y. Does this have y by itself? Y, mx plus b? Yep. Step 1 done. Graph using the m slope and b y-intercept. Okay, m, b. Well, my m here is -3 over 5. And my b here is -5, not positive because it says minus. Okay, so -3 means I go down and +5 means I go to the right. So I'm going to go to -5 on the y-axis. So I'm going to go down to -5. Oh, shoot. I can't go 3 down. So now I have to think. Well, I can also go, instead of down 3, I can go up and left 5. Okay. So now from here, I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I'm going to try to do it again. Up 1, 2, 3, left, up. I don't have any room. This one I only got 2. That's okay. So there's my graph using the slope and y-intercept. 3, is it a solid or a dashed line? Well, what does this say? This says greater than. So if it's greater than it, can it be equal to it? No, it's not equal to. I don't see or equal to. I don't see that underline. This means that it's going to be a dashed line. Again, well, now this one's a little harder, so I'm going to show you how I do it. So what I kind of do is I go like this. I put a little mark. I pick up my pen, little mark, pick up my pen, little mark. So there's still holes in between, and I put my arrows at the end. Okay, now step 4 says, do you want to shade above or below? Well, if I'm greater, that means I'm greater. So am I up or down? Am I above or below? Greater means I want to shade above. I'm more. I'm greater than you. So this would be down, right? So this would be up. So if I want to name a solution now, Well, it's anything here. So maybe I say this point. Okay, so my solution, one of them, remember there's a bunch, is 3, -3. And what about what's not a solution? Well, what's not a solution is something not in that blue shaded region. All right, so something like over here, maybe that one, right? That's not anywhere in there. So that would be -5, -5. Not a solution. Now you might have come up with another spot, but those are the two that I found. Again, make sure you're pausing along the way. Make sure you're graphing along the way, taking all the notes, because it's what's going to help you be successful. Remember, everything is open notes. So if you take great notes, you will be successful on both the quizzes and the Edge Elastic and your test at the end. Okay, last one. Y is greater than or equal to 2. All right, now this one looks a little bit different. Let's just go back to our steps. So we keep going back to our steps. So this one says solve for y. Is the y by itself? Yep. Graph using the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, well, my y-intercept is 2, because that's my b. Do you see a slope? No. It's like them saying 0x plus 2, because they didn't write any x. So my m is just 0. So if I want to plot this, I would go to 2 on the y-axis. Here's 2. And it's saying 0, well, over 1. So it means go up 0, go right 1. So don't go up, just go right here. Don't go up, just go right here. And I'm going to keep going. Or I can say, don't go down and just go left. Okay, don't go down, just go left. Just go left, just go left. So I get all these dots. Okay. So it looks like it's going to be a straight line, but I have to think, wait, am I solid or am I dotted? Okay. So now, well, if I look at what this is this. Well, if I look back up at my notes, that sign means greater than or equal to. Well, if it's greater than or equal to, that means it could be on the line. That means I want to say the line. That's good. I can now actually connect and draw a straight line. Before, I had to make it dotted because it wasn't equal to. It wasn't underlined. Those are dotted lines. If it's underlined, those are solid lines. And then the last part is step 4, shade above or below. Well, if I'm greater, I'm going to shade everything above because I'm greater. Well, where's above on this guy? Well, here's up, here's down, right? So everything above. Okay, that's it. Nice job. Thanks for coming on. Good luck on your work.